All right, you guys know the headline. Patrick Waugh out, Peter DeBoer in with 4 games left in the Owls season. Ethan Sears is on the Owls beat for the Post. Time to talk the first post-Waugh era practice. Ethan, thanks for jumping on with us, my man. You were at practice. Kind of give us the iced tea on why the franchise decided to part ways with Waugh and what that first practice felt like.
Well, Brandon, first of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, look, I think over the last week, this sort of went from something that was an outside chance to something that, on Saturday night, leaving the building in Carolina felt like, hey, there's a real chance that this could happen because Patrick Waugh seems to have lost the room and lost the ability of to motivate guys and have players playing for him. If you watch this team over the last few games, they seem to just not have the urgency or the desperation that they really needed at this time of year, and it was hurting them badly. I mean, they're out of a playoff spot right now. They don't control their own destiny, and this was a team that had been in a spot uninterrupted for 3.5 months. So, Mathieu Darche felt that he had to do something, that this was the time to do it. And practice today, first of all, definitely a different tone, a little more intense, high spirited, kind of all those things you probably expect with a new coach. And the explanation for Mathieu Darche was probably a little bit less harsh of a version of what I just said. He felt that this team needed a new voice. He made the move with the long term in mind, and Peter DeBoer is signed for longer than just these next 4 games. But he also felt that doing this now was going to maximize the Islanders' chances of making the playoffs.
What's the first thing that jumped out to you in the Peter DeBoer era? Like just schedule change, practice tone. Like you said, you expected it to be a little bit more high energy or high tone, but like what else kind of stood out to you about it?
You know, for small details, it's the first time since Lane Lambert was the coach that there has been a physical whistle at an Islanders practice. Patrick Waugh never used a whistle. He could just do it sort of with his fingers. So that was something something small I noticed right away. But look, I mean, I think you're going to see some tweaks in their defensive zone coverage, and really the main thing that can change with 4 games left, right, is just this group is on notice now. And they know that, they bear some responsibility for what just happened with the coach. I think everybody's well aware that um, this is a coach that you hire. You look at Pete DeBoer's track record, you're not hiring him to like be in charge of a retool or like build up a team over a number of years. You're hiring him because you want to win now and you want to win soon. So I think it sort of puts these guys on notice that, hey, there could be some changes to this roster in the offseason. And exactly the extent of that is going to get dictated over in large part, the next 4 games, and the Islanders hope beyond that. But I think it just gets everybody's attention, right? The Islanders kind of been coasting through the last month or so. And now not only are they playing for their season over the next 4 games, but they're probably playing for a spot on this team next year, at least to some extent.